I wouldn't be surprised if the one I'm on is going to take the rest of the stream.
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on.
Are you on the farm? Join the farm?
No. Name. Hang on.
Oh no.
That's probably.
I just went live.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It crashed. Or yeah, crashed when I hit start.
There
But
you
also
are.
of my stream, my input showing something on my end. Gotta load.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take. Run.
Yeah.
YouTube hang.
Facebook and YouTube tonight. There you are.
But also my
Gotta get the volumes off.
yeah. Case. Yeah, there we go. What happened? I don't know what happened.
There you are.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh.
I was telling Casual today, I almost polled you guys about whether I should change that Waterworld map out to something else or not.
No.
I was kind of, I won't say stuck, but I was trying to think about like how to keep it progressing.
That's what I was gonna say. Kind of looks a little kind of like you're grinding a little. It's
I
just a
am
grind.
grinding quite a bit, and I was just trying to think about because like there's only like 2 or 3 more things and that I really wanted to stream on it, and I've got other maps I want to stream, so um, I didn't know if I should just give up on the last 3 things or not, and but then I ended up actually kind of coming up with a plan and kind of busting through it. So I won't say I'm wrapping up. I don't know when I'll wrap up the map. I don't know if it'll be another month or 2 yet, or what the deal is, but.
Yeah.
And then there's another map I want to do right afterwards, and it's another map that Average did. It's actually the map Average did before Waterworld, but I kind of came up with like a kind of a role play scenario for it that would maybe work, but um it would be maybe great for YouTube or making a little bit of a YouTube video, but I don't know if I want to sit and edit it, so.
Well, yeah.
Although I did find out the last clip I made on Twitch is a lot easier to clip them than it is on YouTube.
Yeah, well, YouTube's editor do it if you're just like if I was to do something I download it and then
See, I did my clip on Twitch in like 20 minutes, and normally it takes me 2 weeks on YouTube.
Well, why does it take that? Because that like to like it's because I know like when you like edit a live stream, it takes take like a day for it to act or better to for it to be.
Yeah, well, so part of the problem, not all the problem, but part of the problem is YouTube. You have to sit there and like process it. So when I do the front end of the clip, what I have to do on YouTube, um, the front end, I have to find the front end first, and then I have to process it, and then I have to go back and find the back end of it, and then I have to process it again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Their editor isn't. I almost never.
Whereas,
I almost never use it. That's why it's actually faster for me to download whole live stream, then scrub through and find what I want in my editing software, where and clip that out and join them together and like yeah like other than finding the where I want what I'm looking for, it's like yeah it's like less than less than 10 minutes to actually do the editing. It's finding it is the hardest.
yeah. Well, and that may be part of why it was so easy that one I made because I kind of knew it was within the first 20 minutes, and so finding it wasn't hard. As if it was, if it was at the hour mark or something, or it would have been a lot harder for me to find. But it was at 20 minutes, and then um, I think the only thing I didn't like about the way Twitch does it is um, it it makes the clip. You can make it shorter if you want, but it only makes the clip so long. There's a max length, and so if you want, like, say you want like um, I want to say this, like, so
Seems
you're
like a
trying to hit
short.
a certain spot and you want it to end. You want to make sure you get the whole clip. I kind of had to adjust the beginning a little bit to make sure that the end it finished the way that I wanted it.
Yeah, well, and like YouTube, it'd be like, of course, you're taking you know multiple parts and trying to put it together. You can't do this, but that is one thing about YouTube they've made nice for doing shorts, and that's a way to get. You're not gonna necessarily get the subscribers, but you can get some of them can get a decent
And
amount
and
of
see,
views.
that's
But like I
that's
said,
that's definitely
you're limited to you know thir- like well I think it's a minute, but really anything over 30 seconds doesn't people won't view in their shorts feed. That really 15 seconds is the sort of the sweet spot. Like I mean I didn't clip out of any live stream, but like just on my phone and such, and I need to think. That's the thing, I just don't think about it till I've done the thing. But it's like I made a silly. My most recent one was silly, like tools you didn't know existed, which kind of a gotcha kind of title. It was a windshield wiper arm, a little puller for pulling battery terminals. That's why I showed it, but it was like 14 seconds, and um and I mean it's still getting views now, but it's like 15, 20, 25,000 views, and it's tapered off, but like I got 10 or 12,000 views in like one day because doing that. But you kind of got to think about it. So like, but that would be the thing, like on YouTube, if there's a like a funny but interesting clip that is, about no more than 30 seconds long. It's the that's and how you do that from the actual like YouTube app, not in like back end or the studio. So they
Yeah,
make it it makes it a
that's what
little easier.
that's what I wish I knew, because I have a few clips that would just make,
Well, you
I
can do it at
tried to
any
make
time.
shorts, but
You can do it at
I
any
keep
time, and actually you can do that with other people's videos if they have the allow remixing on. You can even it's I guess it's not stealing because they're giving you permission, but I mean you can do that with other people's videos through the app. But your own, just go back through, and if you happen to know something, find like actually that when we were doing the potatoes, God, whatever, a year ago, and we both got hit by the train, you know?
yeah.
Something, it's maybe something like that, or just whatever.
Well, I got a few short clips that I could probably easily find, um, but I've never really understood how to get them flipped over.
Well, you use the regular YouTube app, and then on the video there will be a button. You're logged in. There will be a button there that'll say uh remix or key or create short. You do that, and then you'll just excuse me, scrub uh wherever it is, um and then you can put you can even put licensed music over it or whatever, and you'll well, okay, you're not partnered, but I mean, even if you're partnered, you can still get paid because they've paid the license stuff. Kind of like, well, I don't think TikTok's 100% legit that, but TikTok does pay some licensing. That's how people are able to use it, paid on that platform. But anyway, it's much easier than using YouTube Studio, like you're doing. If you, and then I mean, it will edit it into a vertical video, so you're gonna have to adjust, to make sure see whatever the hell it is you want to see. That's the only thing
Mm.
designed for vertical, but it's they've made it it's a lot easier if you have a clip or a moment. I guess I call it a moment, not even a clip. It's a moment in an existing video. You can create a short out of it. And there's ways to use other people's video or do it with other people's videos. I have not. But
I'll have to, because there's like I've got like two or three clips that are short, and I would like them to be shorts.
well, you can what I mean is even though like these 2-hour live streams, find 15, obviously they're probably nothing worth watching into a short, but like
No, I kind of wanted to. I kind of want my shorts to be kind of like bloopers.
well, yeah, but see what I mean is it's an existing video, so if the blooper, you don't have to upload. See, that's the other thing, is you don't have to upload anything. It's already there. It's just YouTube's doing all that part. You're just
Mm.
you're just cutting. Um, you're just saying, hey, I want this 15 or 30 or minute part of this video, and then they'll turn it into a vertical video, and then of course you put text across it and all that stuff. There's a filter, just like on Instagram or Snapchat, all that stuff. But what it does is it puts it to the shorts feed, and it it'll send it out to not just subscribers. It sends it out in the shorts feed, and that's how you can get some YouTube. But I found that it doesn't really garner like long or subscribers that are going to view your other stuff necessarily. If you want to try and build it and get to that the 1,000 you need, and of course then you got to get the watch time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's I would look at it more like, marketing for your Twitch. So make sure you put your Twitch link down in the description, or maybe even text over. It's like, I stream on Twitch, or whatever, something. Like I said, you can do that easily, and it'll be put it at the bottom or whatever. So people who find your short, they could then know that you're on Twitch. That's how you could look
Yeah.
at it. This, I again, you should really want to ramp it up. You got to be making them all the time and that. But I guarantee you, you'll get few thousand views at least per short each time you do it, because it shoves it in people's faces. And if you start getting a lot of like people's uh viewing the whole thing, or going back, or getting, or not swiping away kind of immediately, kind of like on Instagram, sits there and plays. If it does
Hmm.
that, see, then it'll keep feeding it to more people. That's I don't want to say that's how you game it, but that's sort of how it works. It's like, if a person just sits on it for a while, um, then it says, "Oh, okay, people like this enough. Let's keep shoving it to," and then it can show up in search. Like some of mine, I have some shorts that are like kind of evergreen, as in they have tips or something related, and
Hmm.
they'll go cold and only get a couple a day, and then all of a sudden, somebody, a few people must enough watch it, sit on it a bit, and comment, and then it's like, oh, this must, people like this. YouTube's algorithm says, oh, people like this. This must be hot again. It starts, amplifying it again, and then all of a sudden, for a couple days, I'll get thousands of views, and then it'll kind of cool down, and if it's something worth watching, I
Yeah.
give it a try. Just go find, um
I think I'll have like three of them I can think of.
yeah,
I'll have to look.
I mean, title it well, kind of a, and I'm not good at it, but kind of a, if anything, way a misleading title. But also, here's the deal: you got to do before you get past where um you like put the description in, is you need to choose like a thumbnail, or the preview. So make sure it's something that be like, what's going, that somebody would look at it and it'd be like, what's going on here? That's the name of the game. Think of the reels the reason you send, or the reels you send me, the reason you even saw it, watched it, or stopped to click on it. Think of what the thumbnail or the preview was that made you actually even consider viewing it, and do that
Yeah.
with yours. That's, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
The only thing with like shorts is you can't upload your own custom thumbnails, I don't think. Um, so yeah, you gotta kind of hope that there's something in the video that looks like you just took a still of what you're doing now. It's like nobody's gonna. But like if the
Yeah.
tractor's upside down
The
and
only
you,
person that would click on that would maybe be another farm simmer.
well,
Be
that's what
like,
I
well,
mean. But
what's going on?
but uh, the but like, okay, the tractor's upside down and in a funny position. It's like, and then title it like, about time to fire that hired man, or something. That might be your title or something.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't about an AI, the AI worker, that, well, those those real life NPC videos I made when I was back this summer, those did pretty well, because I
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what's this? Well, and then like again, probably farm simmer gamers, you know, I made sure you could see that lizard shirt, and like people in the know are like, lizard on a shirt. Hey, how did you know? Some people probably literally just clicked on it because there's no such thing as a, at least now, right now, there's no such thing as a lizard, branded shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you know, think of stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't completely figured shorts out either. I use them more. I mean, they don't. I mean, unless you're doing like this, oh wow, kind of content, not they're not a long term like long. They're not like a long form strategy, but
Yeah.
like you make like, hey, I live stream every so Twitch or Twitch, but also, you know, I get people to subscribe to watch you when you're on YouTube, like, kind of thing you
Mm-hmm.
do. So, and this is where you get the watch time, get stats, so you can, just like
Yeah.
Twitch, it takes a while, but that's a way to.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you got Minecraft, I do a lot of your on uh maybe you're off night, whatever, Minecraft crafting, maybe do it on YouTube and then pull some clip, do some shorts of out of that. I I know Minecraft probably plays good on Twitch too, or audience as well, but
Yeah.
um it'd be a way to get it on get YouTube built. It's just, unless you're like some amazing,
Yeah.
funny, and
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's Minecraft streamers that boggles the mind that game's had such a staying power, but I think it's just because it's so open. Like it
Yeah.
it
You
can
can
it can
if
almost
you
always be
if you're into
fresh to an
building,
audience.
you can build whatever you want, and
Well, that's the thing. It can be almost fresh to just about any audience, new and old.
yeah, gold.
Oh, of course. Thanks for jumping in. You're our one and usually our one and only loyal watcher. I need to be well, and I got some ideas for model building and stuff like that, because that I'd get 15 or 20 people nights. That,
Yeah.
kind of speaking of that, I'm getting to just pull the trigger, but I'm getting getting up the gumption or nerve or whatever you want to call it to buy that our custom.
Yeah. But
So,
you and the boys will have fun with it.
well, yeah. I mean, I was even looking at the cheap, kind of like what you bought, Derek, and I fixed weathered that, but at
Hmm.
cheap in uh because they have kind of a cheap, you know, 6x6 type of military truck, and it's got a pickup bed, and well, he'd learn to drive it. He'd like that because he could put a dirt. It
Is that your Hobo, Hobo Hollow episodes, Gold?
Oh yeah, and X talked about it before, but
Nice.
expeditions. other thing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Did
I mean,
you?
I'm not ready to buy, but I mean, it's kind of
I'm not either.
hang.
You know
It's
what happened? So it's like, okay, it was hot right now with it. But what it'll hit another surge because when it goes on sale on like Steam, then everybody will be buying it, and
yeah.
it'll be hot again. I was just thinking about that today.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about the gameplay compared to this. Is it'll be slow and plotting, but it'll be a different, you well, different.
Did you see that other one I sent you?
I didn't yet.
The average was playing. So basically, it's going to be more like this, but it's mining.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think you told
And
me
I'm
about it.
I'm 90% sure I'm going to buy the game. It's a real cheap game to buy, so it's only like $16. And there's looking at it like there's some things that hopefully they kind of work out, but it's also like um not that expensive of a game too, so maybe
Yeah.
you can kind of a person can kind of deal with it. But I guess I think it's a brand new game, and I guess a lot of the farm simmers that were mad about not the modders, but the simmers that were mad about the whole thing with giants and the realism and
Well, what were
um
they mad about? What?
I don't I don't quite know the whole story. Something about like I honestly I don't know enough that I feel safe saying anything.
Oh, there's
um
nobody watching. Well, except for
old.
yeah,
um what was it?
he's cool. He won't tell nobody about nobody. I mean, uh, I guess that's the thing. Like with expeditions, I'm kind of looking for it. It's about the driving, and that's kind of what I'm, to a certain extent, sort of like about this or what. I mean, I'm not like I'm not like I can't wait to buy it. But it is like I got to remember to keep checking. It's mostly when the co-op is available, then I'll get more serious about, okay, I'm gonna buy it, download it, get it set up, maybe play it singular player to get familiar. So then when you get it, or something like that, then I know how at least the controls, throwing the winch out, airing down your tires, or stuff. Because that's the thing. Even though we've been doing like this game, it's like I'm still, you know, new to gaming. Like again, I can't, and like that's just natural for MR people. Well, even I'm console game either. Modern never was a modern console gamer, so like once once it got a lot of buttons, and all this, and bringing up inventory menus and all that, it's like, oh, okay, that's
all I'm really popping up is that they banned um they banned modders back in 2020 for doing stuff like 3D tracks and other things. Um, I was thinking I thought Casual said it had something to do with the realism that they didn't like that. That's why I think you've seen a lot of modders, especially here in the last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, where they'll be like, "Oh, I got this mod directly from a modder, not from not from a, or maybe it had something to do with the sites like King Mods or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It had something to do with the mods, and they weren't. But I thought it had to do with the realism effect. They weren't happy about the unrealistic stuff.
So like Giants didn't like it.
Yeah, Giants didn't like it, and they were trying to put a stop to it, and they ended up pissing a lot of modders off. Not everybody, but
Okay,
they
so
they
like
pissed the.
modders that would like mess with maybe
Well, but they actually
physics.
pissed off a lot of they also pissed off a lot of the ones that make stuff in ModHub. It's not just third party modders. It was because there's they chased off a bunch of modders that um aren't weren't even there. They were there for 19 and they're not here for 22 and stuff. Like I said, I think Casual knows more about it than I do. Well, I know he does. But anyways, I think from what I heard, the ones that were some of the people that were kind of mad about these modders leaving and about the game, so they switched over to this mining game, and
Who's the
which is
developer on
kind
the
of weird
mining
because
game?
it's kind of weird because it's like it's very realistic and it's not like farm sim where you can get mods, or maybe eventually it will be, but right now it's not like you can go out and get mods, so it's realistic and you're stuck with it being kind of realistic. But it is also like farm sim where it's like um you don't have to be you can use the game to your advantage. You don't have to be stuck like if you don't want to, you don't have to sit there and mine with just a backhoe and a truck. You can use conveyor belts to your advantage. I know it looks kind of interesting.
Who's the developer on or the publisher?
Uh,
Yes. But like I mean obviously it sounds more indie. Of course, I guess technically indie anyway, too, but big. But who's the
I'm looking.
I I'm just I probably wouldn't know it. I mean, I barely keep up with who owns what and who's buying up who. All I know is Microsoft is really an acquisition.
Developer is North Modding Company AB.
Okay, like I said, never heard.
Well, like I said, it's brand new, and it's from what I can tell, the
Well, I'm like, have they made anything
from what
else?
I don't well that I don't know, but what I mean, the game is new, and there's really not that many streamers on Twitch that I've seen, and so it's kind of like that's in a way a little risky because you're going from one game to a game that maybe has no viewers or has very very few viewers.
Yeah, but maybe it could be a breakout thing.
Yeah.
Sect,
Well,
less
but
competition.
then the community is also very farm simish too. So like they are so much about the game that the ones I've seen will try and look for someone else that is playing the game before they'll raid other people,
Yeah.
so that they can try and keep it going. I don't know. It looks like it'd be an interesting play, and like I said, for $16, I mean,
Try it. Yeah. Try it
you
out.
try it, and if it's, I think it'll be something. I think it'll be interesting, but I think it'll be cumbersome. There can be some things that are a little cumbersome, and it's definitely a PC game. Um, that might be I won't say a turn off, but that might be a little bit of a okay. Well, I need to take a break from this. I'm kind of frustrated right now
Yeah.
with it. You know.
But if it's kind of PC only, that might be a good thing because then they're not held back by having to make mechanics that can work on consoles and then adapt to PC, you know.
Yeah, I did ask. Um, so because I play with a controller, you kind of have to go in there and program your controller into it, because it's like it'll accept controllers, but it won't. It's not out of the box. You have to
Yeah.
set them up. I don't know. It looks like I said, it looks interesting. Couple new games look interesting. You know, that's honestly like I think that's why there's so much buzz about people wanting 25 is maybe there's not as many modders, and then I think um like the last year of 19, everybody knew it was going to be last year, but there was some pretty good maps, and I'm not saying there isn't going to be some coming out or that haven't come out in the last week or two, or whatever, but um it just kind of seems like they're not coming out like they used to be. I think that's why Waterworld kind of drew me in, was because it's like I'm just kind of tired of the same old map, just in a different skin.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like when we talked about this a little bit though, like expeditions, like they're definitely going to have to add and I would but add content. That's the only thing that's turning me off a little bit is like day one or right now it's like there's only what three. I mean they're huge, obviously, probably, but like there's only three places to go or three types of terrain.
Well, there's only two. I think there's only two base game, and you have to
Well,
buy
two
the
base
third
game,
one.
but yeah, the third you can buy. Yeah,
And then like there's only so many vehicles, and you have to buy like two of the packs or get season pass, which I
yeah,
assume season pass would in the longer run be cheaper than buying all the DLCs, but that's only if you were going to go out and buy all the DLCs too.
yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I'll just deal with
Uh,
whatever's in there, and then I'm sure
oh,
I'm sure there's a modding community around it too.
yeah, there is.
You know,
I'm pretty sure there is.
as the game will mature. But I mean, that's sort of the thing that I'm not used used to either.
I
Is that
I think it was Average that told me that on SnowRunner it was a lot easier uploading the mods into um SnowRunner than it was on FarmSim. Because he had a stint on it for a little bit, and I asked him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing that has me intrigued is because it's about the driving, and like sometimes when I just screw around here, it's because I wanna navigate the terrain. Like, but that's not really what this game is about.
Yeah.
And of course, it looks too hard for Tucker in a way, but it's like that's kind of what he wants to do too.
Mm-hmm.
But he does want to change and create and all that, and that's where the eventually the Minecraft probably scratch that it. And it'll be once he's out of when school's over. Gotta do some things too, but even if he's quote unquote earned it, not getting it till
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and he can get it out, kind of get it out of his system over the summer and back at school. Like, this is such a new thing, so here and there he'll.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, like, here how he'll have to play it. He can't just turn it on and play. Got to log in. Not like I got it super locked, but it's just turning the computer on. He's not gonna be screen. Of course, I mean, he is used to no one entering a password and stuff. You have to for school with Chromebook.
Oh, so this map I was telling you about off stream, um, it's not necessarily a farm map. It looks like it's more set up. It's like it's set up so that you can farm, so you have something to do. But it looks like it's set up more for productions. Um, but it had like it had a mine, but it wasn't like a mine where you could dig stuff up. It was more of a fill point, so to speak, so you could take it to whatever production.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I think it had stones. I think it probably had a limestone production and stuff. But one of the things that was really interesting because Casual was the one telling me about it, so I was like, oh well, I got time. I can download it and kind of check it out. So uh, it it has pivots, and I was like, okay, well, I'll have to check those out. Well, they're like they're actually separate from the map. It looks like there's pivots in the mod hub. I don't know anything about setting them up or anything. I'd have to look at a video about doing them. But they don't. I don't think they really do anything. They just you jump into them and basically drive them to get them out of the way as you work the field.
Hmm. So you
As
don't
I think
really
the whole
use
point
them.
of them.
Okay.
You don't really use them. It's more of like they're in your way while you're doing the circular field, and you need to drive them to get them. I could I could be completely wrong about that, but that's what I saw, anyways. It's like so they sort of got him in the game, which is kind of. I mean I guess I don't have that DLC, but there was a DLC that was called Pipes and Hoses, and this was like a couple years ago. So you'd think uh, they'd be able to somehow connect to them maybe and
Well,
actually
yeah.
do some kind of watering, but
Well, that's
I
the thing.
also
Like
know the
even in
game's
this
not that
game,
advanced yet.
the fact that irrigation never been a really a thing, like either pipe or pivot, gotta manage that, and is weird. I guess a little weird to me that certain apps the where it would appropriate. I mean, if you're laying pipe by hand, it would have to be more of a little more semi-automated. But like seems
Yeah.
like okay, dig away, and you gotta buy a well, dig a well, kind of thing. Sort of set up your system, just like you'd really do. It really, really, really surprises me that wasn't and isn't a thing.
I'm not saying it won't happen because it might eventually happen. Just not a thing right now.
Well,
You
it's
know,
funny it wasn't in 18 or not 18, but 19 or 17. Went backwards. Funny it wasn't ever a thing.
well, but like, let's see. A lot of the stuff that's even in this game wasn't even in some of those other ones.
Well, yeah, I know, but seems like that's a almost a fundamental kind of thing in farming. Almost no matter where you are in the world. I mean, some places just don't have irrigation, but there's, I mean, even think of the rice paddies in Thailand or whatever. You know, granted, it's not irrigation like we think, but it's irrigation. They irrigate and have to manage the water for their crops. This is a pretty more standard farming. I don't know. It just seems odd that they hadn't built that option to manage water.
Yeah.
Find fields, buy fields, land that have a pond, and you have a pump, and you're gonna do that. Have that option. Cost money, so fuel for that, and just another point of management. You could turn it off. Obviously, there's got to be people that wouldn't want to have to screw with that, and there's the city folk that want to. Their escapism is make it doing all that remedials,
Well,
not just
you think
driving
about it
around.
this way too. Like, think about it this way too. Like, there's a mod, and there, I think eventually it'll be built into the game. It just isn't this version, but they've had it the last couple versions. Um, there's a mod called Precision Farming, and you have to go out and you have to get core samples, and then it
Okay,
affects so they've Giants has actually got something like not irrigation, but they got some of that stuff you can get as mods, and then I was trying to think there was something. Oh, well, the biggest one between 19 and 22 was so Giants was made. I think it was probably Giants. Maybe it was maybe it was another modder. But the reason why we have seasons now is because in like the last 2 or 3 versions, there has been a mod for seasons, and they've kind of used them to kind of fine tune them. The thing that Giants does though, you kind of have to understand a little bit is that they have to, like, the seasons that we have in this version is not like what they had in 18 and 17. uh, those were a bit more complicated. They have to they try to figure out a way to kind of dummy it down, so to speak, and then what they expect is that if people want it more complicated, there there'll be a mod for that. Someone can make a mod for that, or they can make a mod for that.
Well, I guess that's
But
what I.
the speculation is that one of these next few versions, there's probably going to be precision farming built into it. So something like that's why I keep saying that maybe eventually someday there will be that, but they haven't gotten there yet.
Well, maybe there's just not that big a want or from the community on it, because probably a majority of the community is not players that have sort of farming experience.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think
Do you?
a lot of
Because
it.
I mean, here's the thing: real farmers don't have time to play video games.
From my experience, farm sim is played a lot more by people that are farmers or farm kids.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm playing it, but it's like if I was legit running our farm, I wouldn't have time and wouldn't want to. Wouldn't have to.
Which is kind of funny because there was a big streamer that I watched that um he actually comes on here because it's like he was talking about if they made this game too complicated, he would never want to play it. But because it's not complicated, he loves coming in here and playing it even after being out in the field all day.
Yeah, well, to me, it's more the well, I guess it's not that complicated, but the business side,
No, but that's another thing is it doesn't matter what mode you play in. You could even play the hardest mode on here. I think it was I think I heard someone say you literally have to try if you want to go broke in this game. You literally have to go out of your way. There's like Giants made this game so that yeah, in hard mode it's just gonna take you longer to get somewhere and do whatever, but it's set up for you no matter what scenario you're in. It's set up so that you'll eventually win.
Yeah, or not. Well, and that's good game design. The masses just want to tend to drive a tractor, I guess.
Yep, yep, yeah. You don't see. I don't think I've ever seen a farm simmer. Yeah, like they may run into the red a little bit and then they bring themselves back into the black. You never see anybody like, oh, well, I just went in the red, you know, $100,000. I guess the bank's gonna foreclose on my farm, and we'll have to start a new map tomorrow or something. I never seen anybody do that. Um, maybe that's an idea for somebody out there. I don't know, but
Well, I mean that's the thing. It's like if you want to go realism, it's like that's kind of how it should be.
If you think about it, like there isn't, and maybe there's a mod out there that I don't know about, but there isn't any bad years, so to speak, as far as like your crop's always going to grow. It's never going to be like, oh, there's a hailstorm that wiped your crop out.
Yeah. Well, I kind of get the that maybe wouldn't be something that they'd put in the base game, but yeah, it seems like I don't know. I still come back to the irrigation. It's odd because that's infrastructure, and that's a lot about games sort of about is
I think, like I said, I I think they kind of sort of got to it with the pipes and hoses. The only thing was um, what they use instead of water, because they don't have any actual use for water on the fields. They used slurry. So basically, the pipes and hoses just took it out to the fields to fertilize your field. Um, but they kind of did. It's just that no one really did anything with it.
I mean, I suppose it's just like the various iterations of Sims game packs and stuff that you can buy, but then there's mods and stuff, but then there's things it's like you you kind of wonder why that would was never in a sim game before. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but like that LGR does review packs and like sometimes it'll be like adding in this kind of sims can now get certain experiences and stuff, and it's like, oh really, that isn't something he was part of thing, it's like, oh, they can now go to college, or something.
You know,
And it's
that
like
reminds me.
that wasn't
That's
part of the game early on, is education,
that's maybe one of the things about Minecraft is like they bring out a pack. It's actually, they don't call them packs. They call them updates. Just like 1.0 or 1. I think they're all the way up to, I think it's 1.21. Um, but each one of those brings new content into the game. Um, it's just kind of weird that like no other game. I haven't heard of any other game that kind of does it that way. You know.
Yeah. But of course, like with Minecraft, a lot of new updates would be different textures.
It is, but there's also ones where like um a few ago, one of the big things was they changed the way um the caves were made, and that's why you see all these big deep caves that go to the very bottom, and big cavernous caves and stuff. And then there's also like they added it's the warden, and I can't think of where can't think of where the warden is, but they added a whole that was a whole pack in itself. That was a whole update in itself, where it was like a different character with a different biome. And it's just kind of crazy to think that if you bought the game originally, like, and still, however you bought it, you could still be playing it, and the game that you saw as 1.1 versus now would be so different.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to pay for it. You paid for it, when it was when it was new. Got to experience it all. But then again, they also make their money like they do have their own marketplace that you can buy stuff, because it's not like you can get skins for free. You have to buy them.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's
The only
another.
reason the only reason I've got the skins that I got was because it gave me money, or it gave me money for the marketplace when I bought it for the Xbox. So I did get my skins for free in a way, sort of, but otherwise I probably would have never bought mine. I probably would have never bought one.
Well, and that's a thing. Tucker may hopefully won't understand. But I don't know. If he goes over to his friend's house. But see, I kind of found out. Well, I asked Tucker. Says, well, what is he? I says, do you know what he plays it on? And he said PlayStation. So like, he's asked, and of course, Tucker doesn't know what that is compared to this, but I think he knows it's different than C. And well, I told him, I
But
says, well, you'll be playing it
it
on
would
PC, so you'll actually you'll be better.
yeah, he may not understand that right now, but he's probably does understand though, like it's a different box and it's smaller and
I mean,
it's
I
just
don't think he's seen it, but
different.
he's asked him because he hasn't been over to his house to. Um, that's sort of I think the interesting part. Well, and the thing is I expected him to say Xbox. Like, a friend would say, "Oh, I got an Xbox." Like, I kind of figure most people. I mean, I know it's multi-platform now, but I mean, it Mahjong was the developer, but then Microsoft snapped him up early on, and so I kind of figured most people bought an Xbox because of it back in the day.
No.
You know, play it. That's why I was a little surprised to hear the word PlayStation, because you just don't. I don't associate PlayStation and I.
Yeah, but Minecraft is one of those games that it's not Microsoft isn't going to limit it just to
Oh
Microsoft.
no,
It's
no,
not one
they
of
of
those. It's
course.
like they didn't buy the developer just so they
Well,
could block
and
PlayStation from it.
and that's the thing. And I mean, I, like I said, I very casually keep up. Mostly, again, it's mostly clips from Linus, podcast occasionally, and I hear a little stuff like that. It's like, now, I mean, this isn't like, oh, this is definitely happening this way, but it's like they've discussed and it's rumored, but like, it's highly probable that either after this next generation or maybe even, Microsoft is gonna pretty much just quit making consoles or license it out, and somebody else will make them, and they're just gonna be behind development or owning the dev companies, uh, and put most of it out all multi-platform, because that's where why limit, thing they're finally figuring out, why limit your. I mean, that the exclusives were always to get you to buy the console, but it's like, why would you, if it was truly 50-50, forget Nintendo, if it was truly 50-50, why only go after half of a potential player base?
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds simple when you think about it, but that's not actually kind of how it's been forever and ever and ever. I'm just surprised it's taken this long for one side or the other to decide, you know, console hardware is always going to be low spec, out of date the minute it hits, pretty much. because of the dev time. Why not just let somebody else make the con, because they were already selling them at lost or under cost or whatever, because they want to get you in on their games or their exclusives. I'll just go more open and make you all your money on the games and the DLC and the every this and that and the other, and let somebody else worry about the hardware. Once you got the hardware, that's a one-time sale. And they weren't making money on it anyways. Neither side was. Just and again, recently talk about, consoles will never go away, but it may not be. I'd say it's going to take a long time for this. It may not be that Sony or Microsoft actually makes a console. It'll be a computer box that meets the minimum specs for, say, current type of so it'd be like, everybody's got pre-built PCs running minimum specs for games, PC games. And Microsoft and Sony will just focus on duking it out with got this title or that title or this type of game, that type of game better than, and going to war, and them going to war like that. I mean, it wouldn't be a duopoly, because I think there'd still be the independents, but I think that's the way it's going to trend, is they'll start buying. Well, and of course there's Steam development. They got the Steam hardware. Pretty cool device. I mean, I'm not into gaming like that, but it's like it'd be something to seriously look at if I was really, really, really into gaming. It's a it's a, I mean, for lack of a better way, Ronnie's still watching. It's like it strikes me as a switch on, like, for steroids. like you can dock it and more or less run it like a PC, and it will run a lot, but yet it's a handheld.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a chonker, but it's not a chonker like you'd think it would have to be to run full on like PC games.
Yeah. Well, probably because I'm guessing that probably not. The game is on some other server. Not on it's not on the device itself, so to
Well,
speak.
you're well, right. You're connecting to, either if you have your Steam server, Steam cache, I should say, that you manage on your network, or it's connecting to Steam. But yes, it's the game would be the assets would be local. It has to be. So yeah, it's on there. Like I forget all the specs, but it's got a couple terabyte NVMe, So yeah, your games are on there, but I mean, yeah, it's gonna be obviously a little more limited in that, but no, it's kind of one of a kind deal, and it put it this way, it would probably outgame your laptop. Put it that way. That's kind of how it's spec'd. Works.
Yeah.
It's the actual, like a large, not, again, it's not a lot of development went. I've seen, again, news and stuff. That's how I know it. where people have it kind of as their main computer for a while, or and they dock it, obviously monitor. It's the compute unit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of seems like the trend in gaming might be going toward, or I always thought maybe PC gaming, to be honest, was maybe not gonna die. It would never die, but not PC gaming. I would never say is like mainstream, because like most people just want to. Well, like you, it was a little bit of an adjustment for you to get to PC, with the laptop and stuff, because it's a computer first, so
Mm.
you got to launch it, you got to download it, you got to install it, you got to do all this before you're even up and running. Whereas like, well, I mean, yes, yeah, but it's kind of, you turn it on and it goes. That was
Yeah.
always, and still is, the benefit is just you hit the button, turns on, and it plays. You know, PC gaming, laptop or desktop, there's some configuration, and you gotta tinker a little stuff. Not everybody,
Well,
and not
see,
everybody wants to do that.
the laptop was so much easier. The laptop was almost like a console where it was like you just had to download things and go. The computer was way harder.
Yeah, and see, I don't know. I guess well, yes, yes. Okay, well, hang on. Yeah, let me. I was forgetting. Yeah, laptops generally come a little bit more pre-configured, but that's the thing with, like, when you get into high-end gaming, it's assumed that you're going to tweak it for your setup. It's Windows, but again, Windows can run on everything from pretty much a potato to a supercomputer. So, but you have to config. Well, and same with the games. Yeah, but a laptop is somewhere in between. There was probably some configuration that you could have probably done that would have made your experience better on the laptop. It just came pre-configured pretty good out of the box. I guess that's what kind of get what I'm saying. Whereas a console was even more just figured, because the games were exclusively designed to run specifically on there. Whereas, like, here's the deal: my PC is aging. Yeah, I'll still be able to game for a good many years on it, but I'm gonna have to, as games progress, I'm gonna have to dial things in, because it, like, either won't, it can't output the frames, or something. Like, well, for example, ray tracing. You probably have ray tracing on your instance of this same game, and it's going to look way different, better than, and I can't even turn that on. My graphics card doesn't do it, so mine will never look like yours. That's part of the tweaking, but you could turn it off too. You don't have to have it either. So if you don't like the looks, or and there's all this other stuff, and that play with and enhance, and then of course it all comes down to, of course, the display, and that's the other thing with the laptop, which is, like, the built-in display. The computer is designed to be hooked to that display because they spec'd it that way. Whereas, see, you could put it on that ancient TV, that little thing you had that really isn't
Mm-hmm.
very good. It'll show it, but it won't. You'll have to adjust for it. Had to adjust for your big TV. If you ever do upgrade, you'll have to adjust that. And yeah, it's just more tweaking. Make it. That's part of the experience. That's part of the fun for most people. Game. But again, my point is it was an adjustment to get into it. Most people don't don't want to adjust, so that's why a console. Fine. Just I'm wondering if consoles, they're already just computers that are pre-configured in a way and run pre-configured versions of the game. I'm wondering if it's going to get where they're more PC like, where there's some just third party makes it, not Microsoft, not Sony. Just buy the games, and then console has a little bit of logic to say, oh, okay, you bought this game, and oh, okay, I'll automatically configure this so it'll actually run on this low spec. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm all way off base, but it just seems like that might be the way things are going. And I think it's a good thing, because if Microsoft, Sony, they got lots of money, they can maybe throw, and they want high, so they'll be throwing money at independent devs or games we never even that never maybe would have been conceived for, because it's like, even though it'll be on every, could potentially be on every platform, like it'll be a race to always be making the best game, rather than just mix it or add-ons to franchises or stuff. There will be more there might be some more experimentation.
Yeah.
I think that's already happening too. But I mean, it would just, again, I think we talked about this last time. It's like the gal, it's an HR. I younger, but she's that young, and I was surprised that she essentially. I mean, I think she uses hack, but still, she, for all intents and purposes, she PC games, playing Sims of all things, you know. And
Yeah.
her deal is she doesn't really like, um building the houses, building the structures, likes decorating. That's the game for her, and decorating them so the Sims get happier, whatever the goal is.
Yeah.
Whatever. I guess just, I didn't know a lot about her. Thought she didn't seem like someone who would go home and then, after doing stuff, she other things, she'd sit down and game. I guess. But she's not doing it on a con necessarily.
Well, I don't think I ever dreamed of actually being on a PC game. I always thought that would be like, that sounds like too much work and too complicated.
Well, I found out it is more complicated, and kind of,
Well,
we
it
kind of
was
war.
as
I mean,
complicated as I thought it was going to be.
well, you got to have, you got to want to tinker a little. I mean, again, same with the laptop. There was probably tinkering. There was upgrades you could do. You could still do that laptops. Take it. I think if I recall, stick another stick of RAM in there, and that pop her up just a bit, for
Yeah.
some games. But it requires taking it apart. But this sticks or, but it's just, I mean, that's the thing. It's part of it. It's kind of like doing your own mechanic in it. It's not easy, but it can kind of be rewarding too. Because in the end, when you get it set, it's customizable for, I guess, for the future,
Yeah.
versus the Xbox. It can no better. Most part, it can be no better. Ever will be when it, you know, like there's not really an upgrade path.
Yeah.
Where you got you got a long ways, if ever, plug other things in there other than some more RAM in. That's that's super cheap and super easy down the road. Like, I can't see you ever, even when this thing's 5 and 6 years old, I can't see you absolutely needing invest in a new Jeep just for the latest and greatest, or a faster seat stuff. Yeah, I should upgrade mine because my board will accept with a BIOS update. But again, where the tinkering comes, it's like I'll have to do a BIOS update processor, but it's not that big of a deal. It's a little stressful. God forbid the power goes out and something, well, then it works the. But probably, I got a battery backup that wouldn't happen. But it's like, but it's like I'm looking at, again, expeditions might run differently, but I'm looking here, running OBS, webcam, the game on this game max settings, which of course this game isn't that, and my CPU is only at like 40%. I don't know where the GPU is, but it's nowhere near 100% utilized. So it's like, this is gonna still run for years and years, and it good enough for
Yeah.
me. And
I was just, I don't know. I when you texted that you were looking at ray tracing because of Expedition, I was a little
well,
shocked, I guess.
what I was looking at is used cards, like using
I
like
know,
a
I
used
know.
20, like a used 20 series, or maybe even, because they're on the market now, a used 30 series, like, or something. And it's like they're, looking them up, they were in like the $200 range or something. I could maybe justify that,
Yeah.
not right away. Because a brand new 40 series like you have, so and it's like, no, I don't like 250 last gen card that'll 2 generations newer than what I have. Definitely extend extend the life even more. Because like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not CPU bound. Like, that's not, I don't have, because I bought near the top when I bought this. It's got the core, got the
Yeah.
for anything I'm gonna do. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I did, is kind of went top on the CPU and somewhere in the middle on the GPU. Like this, done what I've expected. It's actually lasting, as in doesn't feel sluggish or after going on 5 years. And usually in the past, after about the 5 year mark, any of my other, they start feeling it. You can notice, especially in the video editing. Feels snappy to me. And of course, I'm not playing like Call of Duty, but I'm, not getting any stuttering or
Hmm.
the video editing. Videos render still really quicker than the length of the video, where it always was the other way around. It's like, okay, a 10-minute video take 3 minutes to render. Well, 10-minute video takes 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And yeah, like on your computer, take less time than that, but I can deal with that. It's just the old ones. Sometimes it'd be hours for, like I do a 20 day, I'd be videos, and it would be hours chugging away. That just was how it was. They were lower spec machines. I didn't know as much far as what I really should have been having in. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I had a learning. But it's not that hard once you understand. It's not like this next go around. It will. So intimidating or
Probably so will be because I still don't. Like I don't know anything.
yeah, a lot of it's quick YouTube or search away. Again, I know when the next time I build or have built, I'll probably pre-built that I or not pre system integrated. But I, not that I've had any problems with it, but I'm not seeing full benefit. I probably will go air cool rather than water for this AIO. I mean, part of the reason I did what I did is it was the same cost as they were having. They had a special on this on this water cooler. It was pretty much the same price as just the air cooler. But I'm not. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually. This particular one actually cools the CPU air cooler I've had in the past. I just thought it'd be cool. I never had a AI seeing a clear advantage for like what I'm doing. Again, I don't care how it looks. Like I said, it's got RGB, but it just sits there and cycles through. I didn't even, like I said, it's horrible as far as like aesthetically looking. Like the case is yellow, board is black, but like my RAM is white. I mean, it's all different color stuff. But I don't care. I don't sit there. I didn't buy it for looks.
Um, I there was one thing like I don't know if I care about having the RGB, but because I have it and like the base was like a rainbow.
Well,
Like I
that's
couldn't,
that's the default.
because
It just cycles through. I mean,
yeah, but I couldn't stand to sit there and look at it. Like
well, yeah.
I'm like it's so noticeable that you can't get away from it. So it's like I've got to change that to
Well, yeah,
something else.
you have yours where you're looking at it all the time. That's different. Mine is under the desk here. And here's the thing, I did have on the board has RGB, and like when it's off, the computer's like off, it would have RGB that would sit there and just, well, you could customize it to be always on a color or rotate through certain colors, but I just left it as stock and it was just sitting there. Like, all right, that's just, it's off, but it's using power to cycle these RGBs in a room I'm barely in, except for when I'm actually using computers. So I just turn that, But
Yeah.
like the fan has an RGB, so is but that side's act like, and it's got a glass panel. But the way I have it, the way I figured this desk, the glass panel's on the other side, so I can't even see, the lights or all the stuff people want to look at, but I don't care. That's not why I got it.
Part of the reason why I've got it set in the way that I do, I mean, that's just the way that it kind of worked out too. But part of it also is like if I had it turned around, I'd still see the RGB. It's just that it would be reflecting off the walls. It's like
Yeah.
so I still would have to put it to a color that I don't mind seeing.
And look, I get the enthusiasts. I mean, it's like your car,
Yeah,
the accessories don't technically do certain accessories technically don't do anything, but they look and look. But I could care less about looks. I was purely shopping on performance and price. Wanted
yeah,
this. I don't care if it was cute green or whatever. If it like the case, for example, I mean, it's a good airflow case, but it looks stupid. Got these angular. I would be happy with a literal square box. I liked it because it had place for 2 or 3 fans on the front. I mean, it's an older style case. Yours is the newer one where like the power supply is all hidden in the chamber, which is, I think, better for it. Mine's the old sits in the bottom, but then it has plenty of rear and top intake and exhaust, and I added more fans. We're doing good on our cooling, I guess. So that's all I cared is it have enough airflow. But
yeah.
it was like a $20 case or whatever, like because a closeout. Spent decent motherboard and spent or very decently on the processor. And RAM I kind of got whatever because I buy that after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. And then mid range, good enough for a while.
Yeah,
Again, it was before the 20 series or the RTX was even like that came out, like was announced or whatever, like 6 months after I bought either, and then I would have had to pay a premium. Okay, I'll get the last whatever. And at the time, I was gaming and the games that were built to use, so kind of seemed like a waste. Would have been a waste even then, but you know, it everybody knew it was going to come, but it wasn't going to come in that generation of them. So it didn't worth it to spend the money there. It's like, well, I can buy what I might do is buy a used X card now, the more current generation, last gen.
yeah,
But again, I gotta evaluate how I'm, because that's the thing is the monitor I'm playing on right now is a good monitor, but it's so old too. So it's the 75 hertz and um not 4K. So okay, am I gonna really even? I mean, my second monitor is better than playing on technically, but it's like, am I even gonna notice other than like the shadows and that stuff? Is it gonna be a graphics card gonna be able to shove any more pixels to it? No. Monitor.
yeah,
I mean, it will look it if I had ray tracing, it would look better. Just how much? I don't know. It's gonna be $2 better. I just casually. I mean, if I hunt around, like cheaper. Have to well, and like trying to get HDR turned yours, and I swear it's just something.
Oh yeah, but like I know we both kind of told Swanee that it was a new TV, and technically it is. It just sat in a box for a few years, so it is technically an older TV.
Yeah,
And
and I don't know. I mean, yeah, it still could be the cable, but I don't. I think because it's just something. Your card's too good for it, and the TV just isn't. Is like early HDR because that's like the TV I have out in the living room, quote HDR, but it's probably not the best. You know, just HDR is not. I don't think is universe. I don't know a lot about it, but I think there's just because it says HDR doesn't mean they're all the same.
yeah, that is one thing I kind of wish that there was a little bit more questioning me on what I wanted instead of just and instead of just being like, well, this is what a gamer wants, this is what you should get, and it's like, I think that might some of that stuff. Like I guess I kind of feel like maybe there should have been more conversations about what I wanted instead of this is what you need because this is modern gaming. And
Well, it's more of a this is a great
well, it
bet.
should have been more of a. I feel like there should have been more of a conversation about what. And so just I guess I kind of feel like I I guess I kind of feel like, and that was kind of my point, was I feel like I asked for help, and instead of getting help, it's like you should just get this.
Well, because it'll grow with you. I mean, that was the thought. That was the thought. It'll because
Yeah, but
again,
no one ever. But see, that's where the conversation comes in because no one ever said that.
oh well,
So so
and I know
so
Swanee was coming from a totally different perspective perspective, because it's like, yeah, he was more like, oh, you're gonna want this amazing look and all this, and what I saw in this machine is like, this is going to last a long time. Like it won't slow down because that's the worst thing. And I was a little worried about this thing that I bought because it was, and with specifically the video card, the graphics card, I was like, uh-oh, am I gonna hate, am I gonna be disappointed or hate this thing like 3 years, 4 years, because it's gonna start chugging, or I won't be able to do and everything. And again, it hasn't done that. That's the thing. Um, is you won't be disappointed as game again, because that's the thing. Games are only going to get more expensive, I guess is the way to
yep,
say it. And your
yeah,
future, that's the thing. Even though your display not what it could be to get the most out of it, the unit itself will always be able to play the, because I even heard the term quadruple A games is gonna be like a thing, you know, like those are gonna be like, oh my god, you got to have a banging system to even start them, or have a reasonable. I mean, not that you're gonna necessarily play certain of them. I don't even know what games are talking about. Talk about, but it's like, you know, you what you got for your money is gonna, you could probably, I'm not joking, after seeing it and everything, you might be able to get this thing where before you're like, all right, it just won't play this brand new game that came out in 2030, or whatever, or
yeah.
2032 or whatever.
It would be in 2033.
Yeah, you know,
2033, 2034, somewhere in there.
I mean, maybe 10 years is maybe exaggerating a little bit, but I mean, most. Here's the thing: most people, PC gamers, and I'm not talking the hardcore. You know, they're 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 building a new rig every 4 or 5 years
Mm-hmm.
to stay where they want to be. Like with your taste, I should say, this can probably. That's why I say maybe 10 years because you'll probably be able to double that, and the hardware is it's going to last. It's going to be able to run it, and it's good hardware you got in, and the important stuff really good in there, so it should last. I mean, barring like a lightning something like that, you know.
Oh yeah, well,
You
you
know what
you
I mean? You
you
kind of
already you already you already know that's coming. Where I'm not like I won't stream
yeah,
because of a thunderstorm.
yeah. But I mean,
Well, I'll
but I mean,
stream from
you
the
get what I'm
Xbox.
saying
That's why I've
is you
got
you
that.
bought you bought you may not think it, but you bought very smart actually because you're gonna grow, you're gonna understand, but things or just now look what you're streaming like you know more about certain things. Even I do on it, and you haven't been doing it as far as setup and the other thing. But it's like again, you're not gonna have to be get a new GPU because it's won't graphically run this game, you know, or something. That's never gonna be a thing you're gonna have to worry about until like maybe year 8. Well, here's the thing: you'll still be able to run it. It's just you have to run it on like the brand newest of games, maybe on lower settings. That's the thing. When I get this expedition, I'm really curious if I'll be able to just crank it and if it'll run or if it'll crash. Just
Oh
because
yeah.
it's gonna be, I can tell it's gonna be a taxing game for my system at pre-generation graphics and even maybe most of the.
This is kind of off of the subject we were just talking about, but that's another reason why I think it's probably a good idea to wait is like I was talking about. I don't know if I'll wait till it's on sale. Probably will. I mean, I'm not. I just decided to wait. There'll be a point where I'll just say, "Fine, okay, I'm gonna buy it now." But like, like that extra Colorado map and stuff, I'm sure that maybe not, but some of that stuff will eventually go on sale. You would think so.
Yeah,
Eventually, you'd be getting that extra stuff, and I think I kind of mentioned it like a couple times now, but like I know I don't think I would want the season pass. There's a couple things on there. I don't think I don't think are things I'm interested in, but I am looking forward to getting that game. I think I'll definitely have to get it
yeah.
somewhere down the road.
Well, and that's the thing. I won't consider getting it co-ops, and even then, it'll probably be a. And I guess I probably don't mind paying full price, but even better if it could sale or something.
Well,
But the other thing is they'll have patches out for stuff because people find issue or there'll be some update. There won't be probably new content, but it just. I mean, I haven't been following it good enough to know. Oh, is there bugs? Is that people are finding? But I'm sure there is. There is in every game. So that'll be more fine tuned out by the time I get it.
yeah, yeah.
So I won't have to deal with, oh, you go over here and it crashes. Do this action. crashes. Just like this game's had several patches.
Well, I can still remember. I can still remember one of the biggest turnoffs I had on this game when it first came out was I did this contract, got all the way done with it, and it was a big field, and I had to send to finish the contract. I had to send the green by train, so I send it, and the train stole 25% of what was in the green thing. So like I couldn't finish the contract, and I was so upset over that. I was like, how am I supposed to make money on contracts if the train's gonna steal it? And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can make it through without doing contracts that ship out by train. And then I started looking like every harvest contract or almost every harvest contract shipped out by train. I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, they might do to physics or something. Game, make it better, easier, realistic, whatever, or just less robbing. Drive up
Yeah.
some simple rock and it flips you over and wrecks your engine, or it really shouldn't have. Fix things like that. I don't know. Maybe I guess that's the other thing about waiting rather than day one, because that's another thing. I can casually up with the state of gaming through certain tech YouTubers. They're only releasing, like, they're not always releasing completely finished games. Like
Yeah.
like you've probably experienced. I'd never have, but it's like I hear about it, and that's some gamers
I
gripe about. It's like,
this was this version was the first time that I've ever experienced that. Because everything else before that, I've never bought. Um, for a long time, for many years, I've never bought an actual modern game. I think the last one before this that I bought was maybe when GTA 5 came out, and I actually, to tell you the truth, I don't even think that I bought it as a modern game. I don't think I went out and bought that brand new. I think I
probably.
waited a year or two.
I was gonna say you probably did, because didn't that come out like 2015,
2012.
2012? Okay, and maybe you got it in 20
Yeah. I
later,
probably see
2014.
that's what I'm saying. I think I got it in like, yeah, I think I got it a year or two later.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. GTA 6, it's like I'm less about that game, but I might, again, if it's something Eric gets done with his prod, down the road, year, whatever. I mean, that game hasn't even come out. Talking hypothetically here, but he gets back to where he's got a little bit of time, and we invested in. Yeah, sure, but it's like I'm not gonna really buy that unless it's something three of us.
Yeah, well, I'll buy it.
I mean, you will buy it because
I
you're more
guess
into that, but I'm not. So
I'll buy
it's
it. It's just a matter of like, am I gonna treat it like I do with Expedition, where I'm like gonna think about buying it later, or is it gonna be something like Farm Sim where like I already I already pretty much have a good feeling that the next version of Farm Sim, I know I'm gonna probably buy on pre-sale again. Um, Despite my experience, last time, I'll probably still get it again, just because I um like it and want to stay modern in it. Well, I mean, it's kind of really, literally how I built the channel. too.
Yeah.
So see 22. I don't. I just got finished with my one contract.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
got
that's
that.
a
I got this
big.
half of this field, and then I don't know. Probably gonna let stream after it.
Okay, well, I'm
Because
gonna drive this
I
up.
mean, you can drive over. Uh,
I'm not gonna start the field. It's a huge field, but I am gonna drive over to it.
yeah, and I got the other half of this. That should be able to be done up.
Make sure I'm going right. I am not.
Kind of cut this one in half to make.
This town they built here is very much like I can even picture it here in Nebraska, let
That's
alone
kind of what I.
Missouri.
That's kind of what I thought. Well, actually, speaking, going back. Well, that's another sort of reason why Expedition intrigues me is just well, for me it'd be a little extra variety because I don't computer game anything else other than
Well,
retro game.
that's completely why I'm thinking about getting it is to just add another game into the library. It's not I think for me, I think it'll be like ATS where I don't sit here and play ATS during the week unless the only time I play off stream on ATS is to get it ready for the next stream, depending on what's going on. But I don't sit here and play it in my off time.
Yeah,
Um, I think Expedition will probably be the same thing. The only thing that maybe a little worries me a little bit, um, especially since we're talking about multiplaying on it, is I don't know about the tutorials because um, I know it has it in there, and I don't know if we can just do it without them or if that's like you have to do them to get there and how many of them because like I heard another streamer said he spent like 8 hours off stream trying to get through them so that he could stream the
playing
game.
the game. Yeah, I mean it'll. Yeah, I mean there might be that. I will probably need the tutorials, I guess.
Well,
So
that's the other thing is like I kind of feel like I might actually need them.
yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is like I'll probably play it single player too, just to and tutorials. Probably do the tutorials that way, whether required or not, just to stand understand the game. Like I
Yeah,
understand I guess basic goals of what probably be like, but it can again it's 100% new to me because there will probably be nuance with the control end and not roll down the side of a and then have to start all over or set your vehicle and buy a new engine or body or whatever tires, however it's played. I don't this thing I don't even know.
yeah.
I know can't just keep trying to go up a hill because you're wearing it's wearing your tires or wearing the transmission wearing you have to manage that.
I don't. I don't think
little
it
bit.
quite works that way. I think
Well,
you do
I
have
noticed
to
some of the
deflate
streamers
the
maybe
tires a little bit, but
maybe it's not like that, but it registers damage of some sort, you know.
it does. But I think that's more like I obviously I'm speaking out of like I don't
Well,
know
in the fuel
100%, but
consumption and all
I
that.
think I think it like it's kind of like you hit something and it damages it a little
Right.
bit.
Well, that's what I mean. It's well, like the old racing games. I mean, they weren't 100% realistic, but you know, you can use too much fuel, you bump
That
into
is
things.
a thing because there you know there's missions where you actually have to run a fuel truck out there to refuel the.
Yep. No, I saw that, and that's the stuff I mean. Is like I'll have to get used to. Yeah, there's actually a management component to managing the vehicle.
Yeah. Then again, I may also just like when I get it, I may just do streams of the tutorials just to got to do them sometime. Might as well just do them on stream. I
Well,
don't.
that's it. It doesn't hurt. We might watch an extra ad view,
Yeah,
a couple pennies.
I did not realize how big this field was. I
All right.
do like this map for its big open, not square fields.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a grass waterway. Other half of this. Yeah, it's huge. I was just gonna make a pass around.
Well, yeah, I saw you were going, so I was like, I might as well just
Well, I
start.
wasn't. I was
All
like,
right.
oh, well, this isn't that big around. Well, it kind of is. So I'm gonna get a bit of a.
Oh, mine is this is so big. I'm like I better just start it even if I'm not gonna get completely around the outside of it because it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna be in the money after these two contracts though. Back into money, I should say.
Split. Feel a little bit more. Got this finger of a grass walk.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's more realistic. Kind of a ditch drain. Well,
Yeah.
grass walk. I, that is a nice feat.
Yeah. It's kind of a pain in the butt to go around, but it's like I just like stuff where when you're doing a field, it's not always a square or a rectangle or
Yeah.
to me that's a little bit boring where you got to kind of think about okay well how am I gonna attack this field because this thing isn't straight. How am I gonna get this contract done?
Actually, what?
It would.
I'm gonna
So
leave the
you got
grass
it
strip.
turned on.
Yeah. Let's see here. Well,